Tired of one-off projects, having you constantly look for more work? After you're done with the project, clients never come back? My name is Pat, and I'm a founder and creative director with over 10 years of experience running my own animation studio called Pat Animation. Throughout the years, we've produced over 500 animated videos, and today I'll share with you guys my 3 ingredients to make clients keep coming back for more. Before we start though, make sure to hit the like button. It means a lot to us and helps us grow and keep producing videos like this one. Also, stick around till the end of the video for a bonus tip that will allow you to attract new clients, building on the work you're already doing with your existing clients. How to make clients come back. First of all, focus on delivering impeccable customer service. Customer service is at the heart of why we'd rather work with one company over another. If you think about yourself and your experience buying anything or working with any sort of contractor, you always remember how they made you feel as a customer. This is exactly what we need to do. One of the most important things is to over communicate. And what that means is talking about any major issues that may affect the deadline of the project. If you prepare the client ahead of time, if you let them know, what's happening at the moment that may make it a little bit more difficult to deliver within the deadline, the client will be very appreciative of a vendor that communicates issues before they arise rather than after they've become a huge problem. Very often, our perception as a creative is, oh my gosh, this is a deal breaker. They're gonna hate it. They're never gonna work with us again if I tell them. Once you start talking to them, it may turn out that these issues are not as big as you initially thought, and actually the client is not worried about them too much. Regardless of what the outcome is, at the end of the day, the clients always appreciate someone that over communicates rather than under communicates. Reply to emails as soon as they come in. There's a lot of school of thoughts when it comes to email management. Some people will tell you focus on the creative work, focus on working on the project, and check your email only every hour or once a day. But my argument is, and it's something that I learned from experience, if you can respond to a client inquiry, especially the initial one, right? When they're reaching out with a new project or trying to find a creative that will help them achieve what they're looking for, if you can reply to them within minutes after the email came through, this gives you an unbelievable advantage over somebody else that is also being solicited for the same kind of work. Honestly, I can't tell you how many projects I was able to win just because I was the first one to reply to the client's email. The clients would often tell me, Pat, the reason we work with you guys is because you were the first one to reply. You gave us the most thorough explanation of what you guys do and your vision for the project, how you can help us achieve our goals. And that's pretty much why we decided to hire you. That's exactly where you want to be. Then also, the same things apply to the clients that you are already working for. Think about it this way. They gave you a shot, they started working with you on this project because of your portfolio, and now you get a chance to show them why it's important to keep working with you long term. If you can provide them with a service that they have never received before, guess what? You'll set yourself up for a lot of recurring work. And believe me, there's nothing the clients hate more than a creative that takes ages to reply to their emails. Try to put yourself in their shoes. They are a marketing director, an executive, in an agency, producer, creative director, art director. They are juggling a lot of balls at the same time. And when they're reaching out to you, they want to get that thing out of the way. They want to make sure it's done and they can move on to the next thing, okay? So if you can help them by replying to them quickly, they'll never forget that, and you will be poised to receive much more work from them. And I can see how, replying to emails quickly can be a problem if you have too many projects. But in that case, if you have too much work, you should be in a position to hire somebody to help you manage your emails. And if you don't have too much work, then make sure you put priority on responding to your clients' emails. Once again, this ensures that they have the best experience working with you and that they will tell others about the experience they had working with you. Next, make them part of your creative process. As soon as you produce something, show it to them to get quick buy-ins and help ensure that the creative process is moving forward in a promptly manner. On some occasions, you may save yourself a few hours of work just by showing something to the client and allowing them to give you feedback before you start building on that thing, and adding more complexity and more hours on top of it. And I think this goes against a typical thinking, that we may have as designers, thinking like, oh, this is not good enough to show to the client yet. It all depends on how you dress it up for the client. So in my example, working on animated videos, I would say something like, our team just came up with these sketches for the first few scenes. I wanted to get your take on it, see how you feel. Something like that, as simple as that, right? And the client can say, yeah, awesome, looks good. This is kind of what we had in mind. And if you hear something like this, you have that extra confidence that you can keep building on this, and the client is already also feeling that you guys are on the same page. The worst thing that can happen is you guys just hiding somewhere, working, and then coming back to the client to show them what you've been working on for so many hours. And first of all, the client is already frustrated because they haven't heard from you for a while. And then I want to argue that it's more likely that he will be looking for things that are not perfect in your design, as opposed to when you showed them something earlier on, they would be more accommodating. Because first of all, if they did catch something, they maybe had already seen it before, and they would feel less inclined to give you harsh feedback right now because it's something that they've already okayed earlier on, so that helps you. And also it kind of feels more like it's something that they've created with you rather than you've created for them. Psychologically less likely, I want to argue, to critique our own work. And when you work with the client collaboratively, it kind of feels like it's your work, but it's also their work at the same time. Lastly, stick to deadlines. The clients have deadlines for a reason. They have a stakeholder who's waiting for this piece of work. They have a client in the cases of big agencies, and they have a deadline that they've committed to the client. Sometimes there are penalties. So deadlines are to be treated as something holy. No matter what, you do not want to go over the deadline. If in the course of the project it looks like you may go over the deadline, the best thing you can do is communicate it as soon as possible. Last thing that you want to do, something that you never want to do actually, is not give them a choice. Just give them an ultimatum, right? Like one-off message. Hey, we can't deliver this on this deadline. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do, we want to say something like, hey, I know your deadline was on March 20th and we've been doing everything we can to meet that deadline. However, with the amount of work that is left and with our initial scope, it looks like we may not be able to reach that deadline. I'm communicating it to you early on so that we can take steps to make sure that we do stick to the deadline. Here's what we suggest. And in this case, you are showing them the things that you can do to make sure that you stick to the deadline, okay? Maybe you can ask them for more money and hire another creative, somebody to help you working on this project. Or perhaps you can agree with them to decrease the scope of work, do less, to make sure that you can stick to the deadline. The next ingredient to make clients keep coming back to you is to produce good work. And what that means is, number one, research the project that you're working on really well. This includes see what's been done before in the space. Okay, see what other companies, other agencies, other designers have produced in a similar industry. Next, take a look at their competitors. Okay, see what kind of work they've been doing. See what worked, what doesn't, what sort of they tried, perhaps where they succeeded, where they failed. Pages like Behance, sometimes, they can show you the whole creative process of how the company or the designer came up with an idea, the ideas they've tried. This is always helpful to sort of learn on others' mistakes, and apply it to make our work better for our clients. Next, stay on top of trends in your area of expertise. If you are a UI designer, see what sort of UI design is being done right now. If a well-known company is releasing their mobile app, see what they have done. What design choices have they made? Okay, maybe that's something that you can implement in your work to make it stand out among other creators who may not do the extra homework on the project that they're working on. It's actually very easy to kind of get stuck in our ways and just keep doing what we've been doing. Make sure to follow some of the most popular, most prominent design channels on social media. YouTube or Instagram, and see what sort of news and trends that they share, okay? Try different things. I know in UI, there was a time when glass morphism was very popular and a lot of people were doing that, okay? We tried some of that too, alongside some of the animation projects that we've been working on. In animation, there was the time when it was popular to sort of do like the really like big body figures with like very small heads. So those trends, come and go. Some are better than the others, but something that sets you apart from others is definitely staying on top of those trends and being able to create work that's trendy. Another part to this is staying on top of what big agencies are doing. Ogilvy, Leo Burnett, very often there is a lot of inspiration to be taken from their work, and you could try it in your own work. And finally, the last point under produce good work is to constantly try to improve your craft and self-educate. There's this model of trying to get 1% better every single day, utilizing the magic of compound effect. If we can get 1% better every single day, then that effect just compounds over time, and within, after a year, 2 years, we can't believe how much better we have gotten. So it's actually quite magical. Check it out for yourself. This could be just developing a habit of self-study every single day for a little bit of time, or an hour every other day, or just a couple of hours every week. And when you think about a couple of hours a week, like what is a couple of hours a week? It perhaps not gonna even make a difference. But over an extended period of time, you'll actually be surprised with the amount of progress. Think about a personal project that you've been working on. If you set out to get something done and you're working on it 3 hours a week, so within a month, you have spent 12 hours working on this personal project. Within 4 months, you have spent 48 hours working on that personal project with a very little time investment. If that's the time that you were investing into self-education, you would have completed 48 hours of coursework within 4 months' time. And 4 months, when we get busy as designers, when we start working on stuff and clients' projects, they just fly by. Today is March 2nd, the day I'm recording this, and I feel like it was yesterday that we were celebrating Christmas and we're already into the 3rd month of the year. Carving out a little bit of time for self-study can really help us get better as designers. Easy way to find that extra time for those of us that struggle to find extra time is to cut some of our gaming time, or just cut the doom scrolling on social media altogether. And here I wanted to share with you 2 quotes that I remember. They just kind of stuck with me and I feel like they're really true. The first quote is that everything worth doing is worth overdoing. And the second quote is, if you keep running at the same pace to everybody else, you're gonna get exactly where everybody else is going. To get where others are not going to get, you need to run twice as fast. Okay, so that's sort of an extra motivation, hopefully, for you guys to do some self-study. This brings us to point number 3, which is positioning yourself as a partner as opposed to a vendor. So partners offer solutions beyond what the clients are asking. Vendors just focus on executing the project exactly as outlined in the scope of work. But what a partner can bring is they use their expertise to give client a little bit more than what the client is paying for. If you can do that, it will make the client feel like they are talking, first of all, to an expert in their field who is not only concerned with the scope of work, but also wants to give clients an extra benefit, extra value from the work that they're doing or the work they've been hired to do. Another thing is, partners are not afraid to tell others when something isn't working. We had a bunch of clients that come to us asking for whiteboard style videos. This was back in the day when whiteboard style videos were kind of popular, but they're ugly pretty much, right? And then there was this time when the software started popping up that allowed you to do these very clunky whiteboard videos, but super cheap. And those videos were flooding the internet. The clients were asking for whiteboard videos. And honestly, I pretty much told them, hey, I hear that you're asking for a whiteboard video, and we can definitely produce a whiteboard video for you. But take a look at this one. This is much better. And I feel it will show your company in a much better light than a whiteboard video with a little bit more of an investment on your side. Tell me what you think. I could have much easier just tell them, hey, yeah, this is how much it's gonna cost, let's do your whiteboard video. But this way, I was actually trying to do them a favor by offering them perhaps something that is better than what they're asking for. Important point here is, be ready to tell them why what they're asking for isn't working and what are the alternatives. If you just tell them, oh, this is bad, what you wanna do, it's not gonna work, the client may take that the wrong way and actually feel like you are being negative about what they're asking to do, or you're downplaying what their idea, or you just, you're just hating on them pretty much. Be ready to explain to them why in a professional manner and offer some alternatives. Okay, and if you can do that, I'm sure they'll be very appreciative. Even if they keep insisting on doing what they wanted to do, in which case you can just go ahead and provide them the service they're asking for, but at least you've expressed your opinion and you tried to help them. Finally, have an open mind and a problem-solving mindset. Very often working on a project, the clients, keep changing the scope. They love to do that. So what a vendor would say is, dear client, stop. This is not part of the scope of work. This is not what you hired us to do. We're not going to do it. A partner would say something like this. Okay, I hear you looking for us to do this. I'm sure you know that this is outside of the scope of work that we talked about initially. We would be happy to do it for you, but in order for us to do this, we would need to allocate an extra resources to the project, and therefore it will cost this, and this amount of money. And if you say something like this, the client will be like, wow, okay. So everything is possible with them. They're not negative, they're not shutting things down right away, but rather willing to work with us. And that's where you want to be. This shows you again as a partner as opposed to a vendor or a service provider. All right, guys, so these are the main 3 ingredients of how to make clients keep coming back to you for more work as a creative. If you are creative, a designer, or somebody passionate about design and creative work, I want to invite you to join our animation partner program. It's a fantastic opportunity to work with us by referring to us clients interested in doing animated work. Think about it this way. You have a client that you're doing a web design work for, and they're asking you for animation. In the past, you would just tell them, no, dear client, that's not something that I do. But now, as a part of our animation program, you can tell them, absolutely. I'm actually working with a great studio who has worked for companies like Coca-Cola, Mars, Mercedes, and I'm sure they'll be a great fit for your project. Let me connect you. And with that, you've done yourself a solid favor, because for every client that decides to work with us, you can earn from $1,000 up to even $10,000. So don't miss out and sign up today. Okay, so all of these things that we have just discussed are designed to make clients fall in love with you and keep coming back for more. And to thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, here's the bonus tip. Ask for referrals. How do we do that? It's pretty simple. First of all, start by asking the client about their experience working with you. You can say something like, hey, Mr. Client, so how was your experience working with us on this project? And if you've done your job, they're gonna say something like, yeah, it's been awesome. We had a really positive experience. You guys delivered what we asked. You were such a great communicator that we always knew what was happening with the project. Great. Step number 2, ask who do they know that could benefit from the same kind of work that you did for them. And here's what you could say. Oh, Mr. Client, so you had a great experience working with us? That's perfect. Who do you know that could also benefit from an animated video like the kind that we did for you? And here, obviously, instead of an animated video, you can slot in your service. And then the client will say, maybe John. John is a head of marketing at Deloitte. And point number 3, ask them to connect you to them. You're more likely to be successful if it's the client that's making the connection rather than you reaching out. This could go something like this. Would you mind connecting me with John? I'm sure he would feel more comfortable if the message came from you. And I'm more than happy to take it from there. Finally, point number 4, express your gratitude and thank the client for making a referral. Mr. Client, thank you so much. This will really help me grow my business. And here it is, guys. The 3 ingredients to make clients keep coming back to you for more work as a creative. If you guys found it useful, make sure to follow me for more by subscribing to my channel, and also connect with me on LinkedIn so we can stay in touch that way. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck to you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.